Hi everyone, it's Philip here. It's just been one of those days, really. It's in the evening now. I've done most of the cleanup, ready for, I guess, the evening to wind down. Been with Ollie at his hockey game earlier, and a pretty good game, but they did lose. Um, and spent last night in hospital with Gabriel, but it looks like we're nearing the end of that journey. She should be coming home in the next day or two, all things going well. So that's just over a week. It'll be a week and a half, I think, that she'll have been in there. And Rebecca's there with her now. So just reflecting on the day, and I think again, like I said the last time, I haven't had much of a chance to think about Revelation, and instead been reflecting on serendipitous moments. Probably the theme of this one as well. It's kind of can't really call it a hospital edition like the last one because I'm not in hospital. I thought about doing one there, but I just didn't really have the time today. So just grabbing some moments now. So the serendipitous moments, those moments which happen throughout a week and seem to kind of come together like birds gathering for grain all in one spot, and you notice a pattern. You realize that there's a whole lot of same kind of statements, same ideas, same thoughts, same words coming up on a regular basis, more consistent and a tight grouping. And the pattern I call the serendipitous moment. And the word or the idea is that of slowing down, and but kind of related to the idea of, someone was talking to Rebecca recently and said, we normally go to a thing called Pastors Retreat. It's in August, and we won't be getting there this year, and it'll be probably the first time that I haven't gone. And someone asked Rebecca, assuming that she was going, I'm looking forward to catching up with you. And they actually live in Hamilton, which is, the retreat's in Taupo. So to see us in Taupo when we're here in Hamilton together, it's kind of the strange thing that struck me. We could catch up easily. We're local. Of course, the retreat gives you kind of 3 days to do that, and it's more of a relaxed environment. It's designed to help people build relationships. It's designed to take people in the same kind of jobs and take them out of their normal situation and give them a chance to hang out together and foster those relationships. And I've certainly found over the few years that we've done it and been there that 3 days is surprisingly quite a good amount of time to establish some good foundations, and you have some pretty deep talks, and it's a really good environment there, really safe, and it's really run very well in that way. And pastors and pastors' wives or husbands get a chance to really connect, talk on about deep things going on in their lives, not just business. It's certainly a lot of ministry issues come up, but it's also about what's going on in your personal lives. It's that joining together of things. And 3 days doesn't seem like much, and yet you talk enough at a deep level and you can achieve a lot. And so we've made some really good friends over that time, and some of our best friends, deep friends, have been made in those times, and at least friends that we really treasure. And anyway, back to this idea of catching up. Even though we both all live in Hamilton, we have to go somewhere else, another city, to catch up. But that phrase keeps coming back to me: catching up, catching up. It's like, I suppose I know what it means. In most cases, it means lots of things have happened in our lives. There's been events and occasions and stories to tell and share. And it's time we caught up together on those. And you catch me up on your stories, and I'll catch you up on our stories. There's also another implication, which I think is also relevant, and that's the idea that actually we're all going at such a pace. We're all running helter-skelter, scurrying about like little rats, that we do need to catch up to one another. That sometimes some of us are running faster than others, or some are just slower than other people, and they're crying out, "I want to catch up with you." It's a kind of it seems quite relevant to today. It seems quite relevant to our lives generally, and certainly seems very relevant to my own personal story and where we're at as a family, and how I guess we feel in so many ways that we fall behind in lots of ways. We don't have as much time as we'd like. In some ways, because in fact our life has slowed right down, that we can't just do too many things. We are focused on one really big thing, and trying to maintain some connections to other things as well, and not just to be singularly focused. But one big thing really has taken up a lot of space in our life, and that's actually slowed us down. And to catch us up is not, in some ways, it's not very hard to catch up with us because we're going so slow. Like I said, we spent the last week and a half in the hospital. You could just come along. It's not that easy, I know. It's difficult. There's visiting times and that sort of thing, and sometimes people don't feel that comfortable visiting people in hospital. But other than that, we've been, as a family, we've been in lockdown probably since about September, October last year. We haven't been able to do much. Our summer holiday was sitting around here, and when we would normally at least spend a week or two at a friend's batch and spending the summer with them. But this year we've been in lockdown. We've been going really, really slow. We can't go very far. We can't do very much, and we're almost a year in that very slow pace, which is consistent with a lot of different areas in our lives as well. We can't do as much as we once could, and so to catch up with us, it's not really that hard. The hard thing for people to catch up with us is that they'd have to slow right down and stop for a while and stop by. And that was a term that used to be used, wasn't it? I remember when we were first married, Rebecca and I, we had some friends that we used to stop by all the time. We loved visiting them. It never happens now. Very few people stop by, possibly because the idea of stopping when we're all so busy, we're all so frantic, we've all got so much to do, that to stop, to give time, to slow down is just so hard. And I think as well, it's not always welcome. And I'd admit that or accept that's the case in some people's lives, that because we're so busy that someone stopping by feels like an interruption. It feels like you're stopping my activity. I had things planned today. This was it's not a day off. Saturday's not a day off. I've got things to do. Don't stop by. You'll stop me doing things. So I think there's a lot of stuff going on that make the relationship building, which is really, I guess, where I want to land this whole thing, really hard to catch up when we're all so fast and running around and running in different directions. That it's hard and a breathless activity to try and catch up with one another. To stop by, well, that's kind of stopped. It's gone by the old stop by, because maybe we feel either we've got too much to do anyway and we can't afford the time to stop by and see someone else and just see them, or we don't want someone to stop by because we're busy and we don't want to be interrupted, because a fine Saturday when you've got some yard work to do, it feels like a really precious commodity at times, and to have someone up here and just stop by is interrupts your life. So it's hard to slow down, and I think and particularly for those for whom life has served them up a cold dish of very slow, who have no choice but to slow right down. They might not want to. They might be ambitious and goal-oriented and love to get things done. They might be purposeful and driven kind of people, and yet events come across that just slow them right down. It's not something they sought, and the pain of seeing others rush by and rush on and be so rushed, in fact, that they can't spend the time to slow down and spend time with those who have been forced to slow. It's kind of a unique element, I think, of our particular culture and the particular time that we're in. The sense of impending doom and a deep sense of anxiety about not having enough time to do the things that we feel we need to do. A sense in which we've got to work so hard to make a living and to keep ourselves just ahead of the I guess the high tide waterline that might threaten to swamp us. Even if you can't name the fears, I think a lot of people feel it, a sense of anxiety about what might happen to them if they were to slow down. if they were forced to slow. I know a lot of people felt that during the COVID-19 lockdown, a real sense of fear about what that slowdown and lockdown would mean. Of course, it puts a lot of pressure on the economy, but it's more than that. It's also, what does it mean for us as people and as humans if we just are sitting around doing very little? And for some people that was the case. They didn't have much to do, though I know certainly many were just as busy, if not busier, in the lockdown, trying to maintain their business and keep their employers happy. But slowing down is kind of essential if you want to build strong relationships. Stopping by, slowing down, meeting quietly with people, going to an event organised not because you really like the event, but because you want to spend that time with people. That showing up and being with others is actually the real deal. It's not whether the thing organised is actually your thing at all. I love youth group and the fact that you show up to the youth group activity because it's youth group, not because the activity is perhaps the thing that you want to do. You show up because those are your mates. And that's how you build relationships. And people who don't show up because it's not really my thing, I don't like that activity, that's a betrayal of loyalty, I think. That's a break in relationship. It sort of says, I would rather do something I enjoy and find fun than spend time with you. You just don't mean enough to me. And I think we say that to one another more than we realise. When we don't show up to events, when we don't show up to life groups because we've organised something else, or it's a bit tired. I'm a bit tired, or I'm a bit busy, or whatever it might be. I think we say that to one another when we don't show up to Sunday services, when they're organised and they're really an occasion to meet with God and to meet with one another. There's the dog making sure that the neighbourhood dog's kept in check. The meeting together it's not really about the thing perhaps organised that gets people together. It's the fact that we get together that matters. And I think that slowing down and stopping by and taking time is definitely under threat. It's a rare commodity, and the people who get left behind are those who limp, those who can't run, those who are slow by nature or slow by design. Pepe, that'll do, bud. When we're so fast, we leave the slow ones behind, and one day we might be the slow ones, and we'll feel that particular keen pain of being left behind by those who want to just keep running. And I've been so grateful for those who've given the time and stopped by and have given time to us and generosity and food and texts and calls and have kept in touch. I greatly and deeply appreciate that, and I know our family really does. So thank you for that. And I know that it's no surprise to me that those who've done that are those who have taken time with us, who we've taken time with, who have been precious to us over a period of time, and therefore, unsurprisingly, they are the ones who are there in our moment of need. So anyway, that's my reflections. This is not about no longer working hard. This is not about not putting on good programs and organising things. This is about prioritising our time around relationships and building relationships and slowing down with those and taking small steps, building relationships with one another and just slowing down enough to be present to each other. So those are my thoughts. I hope that it came across as I hoped it would, and that you find a space of slowness in your own life and that you can invite other people in and you can spend time with them, that you might even stop by and see people that you haven't seen for a while. Keep building relationships and extending yourself in that way. God bless. See you soon, hope.